Okay, so Jackson McCock,
Yes.
who is a CIA field agent. You're currently in country, by the way. You're not, in Uzbekistan plotting the downfall of the Soviet Union again. Um, you are somewhere in country. Tell me, like, about your character's everyday life, where you live, all that fun stuff.
I would say he lives, just outside of like Washington D.C.
All right.
Has just, an apartment where there's not a lot of stuff in it, or at least that's what it seems like. Like it's kind of pretty bare, but like enough stuff where it looks like somebody lives there, but it's always super nice and clean because he's hardly there. Uh yeah, and he just goes into kind of like Washington D.C. when he's not out of or not on assignment. Kind of just seems like he works at a normal office, which is obviously a cover where
All right.
like no people don't really talk to him, but it almost seems like well, really wouldn't have been like like IT back then, where like people didn't really know. They're like, oh yeah, he's just an IT guy, and they have no idea what he actually does.
Okay. Have you thought about how Delta Green would contact you?
Uh, yeah, we'll just say like he gets emails, and it just looks like kind of like spam emails,
What the hell? How did my stuff go?
and that's how he would like. It would just like seem like spam, but like there'd be like keywords in there,
Okay.
and he would
Well,
be able to go, okay, that's the location I need to be at this time.
let's say the email leads you to a payphone kind of outside a gas station somewhere random near you at a
All
certain
right.
time.
And he just waits for the phone to ring.
And when the phone rings, you have to say, like, you pick it up and you have to say a specific keyword.
Would it be like his code name, like Hermes?
No, it'd be something completely whatever you want. We don't need to say it. It's just
Okay,
how they would identify it's you.
gotcha.
And all they give you is a location to fly to and what the what like those people who wait at the end of airports. This is pre 9/11, so they can wait right outside the terminal for you.
Yeah,
And they hold those signs who are like so and so party or whatever.
yeah.
You're looking for someone holding a specific sign at the which airport would that be? Nash. Sorry, can't remember if it's Memphis or Nashville, but it's in Tennessee.
Okay.
One moment, I'll tell you here in a second. Yeah. Sorry, Knoxville, Tennessee. Good old Knoxville.
Oh, Knoxville, huh?
Okay, and now we're on to Jordan Velez.
Okay. So you said a typical day in the life of Jordan, correct?
Yes. Who,
Um.
for the record, is a NSA TAO unit, Tailored Access Operations Unit, in the Foreign Intelligence Directorate.
Cool. So basically a day in a life is that she lives in Seattle because she grew up near Anchorage and doesn't want to be too far from her parents, but it gives her just enough space from them. Um, she lives in a super super tiny apartment, nothing like super fancy. Everything is very clean, tidy, very organized, except for her little like computer desk area, which is covered in wires and files and every which way of just general 1995 1996 machinery, I guess. So floppy disks, everything. um Basically she, how do I want to describe it, she's very seclusive, like reclusive, doesn't talk to anybody. She just gets up, does her morning routine, drinks coffee, goes to work, click clacks on her computer, and then goes home. Maybe doing some late night work, um, for the agency, whatever they need her to do. She doesn't mind it because that's really all she knows. And then, but how she's contacted by Delta Green is that um, it's like in passing, I would assume like a file is just placed on her desk. It's very sparse. It looks like a normal file, but kind of like similar to Jack McCack. Um, it has like code words in it um, that only she would kind of understand in a way. And then they contact her through, again, probably like a payphone or some sort of something.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and it's a similar thing. You're told a time, a place, get to Knoxville immediately.
Yes.
Are you just taking vacation time from your work, being like, oh, family emergency, gotta go?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. She just kind of like puts it in, um, saying like, "Oh, hey, something happened at home. I have to go see my mom." And that's about it.
All right, perfect. Now we're up to Robert Dick Bradley.
Hey, that's me. Alright, what exactly do you want to know about me? Just kind of like.
Day in the life of, and how Delta Green got in touch with you to tell you you need to get here immediately type deal.
So. uh, Everybody calls him Dick. He is a lieutenant colonel, so exactly as you would expect. He is always very put together. His uniform always looks super sharp. Um, it's like just the typical soldier boy where the army is his life. Nothing else really matters to him too much outside of the army, other than his wife. Um, he spends most of his day in his office on base. Uh, you would notice that as people come in, they'll give a quick salute, but then they don't address him as Lieutenant Colonel Bradley. As I said, they only address him as Dick. He doesn't see himself as being better than his troops. He is just so happened to be put in a spot that he is their leader. Uh, at the end of the night, when he goes home, um, he has a pretty good relationship with his wife, surprisingly. Uh, but she is starting to push for him to retire. She is tired of him always traveling, as his current position often dictates. He is often going to DC for long periods of time. Uh, some of those times, he says that he's going to DC, to the Pentagon, and he is in fact not going to DC. Um, he so whenever Delta Green reaches out to him, he gets orders that hits his desk, and basically he has enough pull where he'll tell those who need to know under him, hey, I'm headed to the Pentagon. If you have any issues, questions, direct it to this person. And like his orders will tell him where he is to report to, cryptically, obviously.
All right. I do want to point out that Bradley is the only one who's even knows the term Delta Green and has been on a Delta Green op. The rest of you are considered friendlies, which means you've worked with the organization, you've encountered the unknown, but you don't, you know nothing else, basically. This is the first time they've ever directly called you. You set up with them when you became friendly with them a way they could reach you, and this is the way they're reaching you, and this is the first time they've ever reached out to you. Whether it's been years or months or however long since you had your encounter with the unknown and the organization, this is the first time they've reached out to you.
Ask for help.
Yeah,
Like
asked for direct help. You kind of stumbled into each other previously. This is the first time they've asked for direct help.
Okay.
So Spencer Peckerwood, tell me a day in the life.
So Spencer, this cover, since he is FBI, supposed to be FBI Quantico, he works in Washington D.C. He lives in an apartment by himself. Just commutes to the office. Definitely, just kind of seems like the
You're not FBI, you're CIA.
Awkward guy. Yeah, but that cover, isn't it? Or that's my cover in the.
Yeah, that'll be your cover.
Is that just my cover for who I'm reading?
Yeah. Your cover will be FBI, but you are CIA in the Special Action Division, Activities Division, Political Action Group. So you basically study, from what I gathered, like politics of foreign countries to determine strengths, weaknesses, exploits, stuff like that. So a lot of psychological shit.
Okay. So he just works in an office in Washington D.C. or he works in the city of Washington D.C. So he's just in an office or in a small apartment there. Goes into the office. He is friendly, if not a little bit socially awkward with the people on his that he sees on a basis. Or talk or over a cup of coffee kind of deal. But I think to begin with, he has some kind of supervisor at the CIA that I think know about Delta, which we'll get a little bit into later. Which I like. But other than that, like he just has to work there in his home. I would say when he heads home, his kind of deal is he texts his mom to check in to see how she's doing that day, just to matter. Probably very like ritualistic. It's like the same kind of place to get this same 2 or 3 places to get dinner or his lunches. Goes home, spends the day kind of just reading over the latest theories, or kind of like working on like puzzles like Sudoku, like that kind of thing. Like that's just normal. Like, doesn't really have many friends that he goes with outside of, but very used to what he does. That's what he does in his normal life. I think he, while working on something in the CIA, like came across something in a database, or like in his field, ended up across something, and then ended up looking into it further initially. And so I think his first contact with Delta Green was basically kind of getting his hand smacked and saying like, don't press this any further. And he was contacted by the supervisor, basically told him to stop, kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then now this is the kind of situation where he got some kind of encrypted email that he was able to make out what it meant. Contact him to go see the supervisor, and the supervisor is the one who was saying, hey, based on past contact, they want you to be involved in something this time. So we'll find out more when you head to the location I'm giving you. Kind of deal.
All right, perfect. And it's the same deal. You were told to immediately get your ass to Tennessee. By the way, it is by the time you guys arrive, you arrive like late in the afternoon. Done it like you all get flights as soon as you can. Again, it's the 90s. Flying is a lot fucking easier in the 90s. You just show up to the airport and buy a ticket and get on a plane and leave. Like they don't even pat you guys down. You flash your badge and get right through.
I imagine I'm probably traveling in uniform.
Fair enough. You guys would arrive, like I said, is late at night on like late in the afternoon on June 18th. Double check I got that date right. This isn't like our masks campaign where I'm going to keep track of the dates super well. I just want to make sure you guys get an idea of like. Sorry, not 18th, 15th. You arrive on June 15th in the afternoon. And you see, a man in a, like dressed like how you'd expect a limo driver to dress, holding a sign that, says, like, McCaskey family. The sign you were all looking for. Your flight. Actually, everyone, let's do our first roll. Just everyone give me a D100 roll. We'll see what order you guys arrive in.
Okay. 27.
We know who arrives last.
Typical woman.
81.
All right, perfect. So, in military precision, Bradley arrives first and early. And it makes sense because Bradley's the veteran. And he kind of knows how things go. And the man who's sitting there, like, holding the sign, looks at you and doesn't even say a word to you, but gives you a card which has your code name on it. And says, you know the drill. And the drill is, and the drill for those who don't know, like he's saying, no real names, only code names. No small talk, the typical stuff. You know what you're expecting here.
Right. I don't say anything. I just nod in turn.
Then we have Jack Bigcock arriving. This is again like he hands you the card, and he says to you, no small talk, no real names. This is your name, and we're waiting for two others. And then Spencer Peckerwood arrives. Again, you got none of you rolled like fails. No, we're not waiting like super long. It's over the course of a couple hours, basically, in an airport, which feels like eternity. But like over the course of like 2.5 hours, you guys all arrive, and you're all told the same spiel. He leads you down to a black Suburban. You can tell it's a government Suburban. It has government plates on it and everything like that. You guys all sit in it, and you drive for about 45 minutes. Any conversation happening in the Suburban?
They told us no small talk.
I think Dick just kind of like stands stoic, or is just like sitting stoically, back straight, lid off.
I want to just state for the record that while you guys are just sitting there in absolute silence, a Bombastic by Shaggy is playing on the radio. Please tell me you all know that song.
Yes.
This is definitely. I'm just like ticking nervously right now, like definitely like foot tapping, fidgeting a little bit, trying not to look anybody in the eye, just staring at the window. Not sure what is going to happen next, kind of deal.
After a bit of driving, you pull,
Whoops.
and it's later. It's like after dark now. Why'd you say oops, Anna?
I was
She was muted.
I
while
was
I was trying to
muted.
talk.
I didn't
Oh.
realize. Sorry, can re-roll it back a little.
Yeah, we can roll back a little.
I was asking if we were handed anything yet.
You were just handed a card with your code name on it. That's it.
So no file or anything.
No files, nothing.
I was gonna say, Jordan, as she's sitting in the Suburban with everybody, she's kind of doing the same thing as everyone else, looking out the window, trying not to look at anybody else. Just kind of like thinking.
Is there just a driver? Or is there like two people?
Just a driver right now.
All right, I'm gonna say Jack sat in the front seat.
Okay. It's not, if you, a description of the dude, he looks like almost uncomfortably normal and average. Like, he looks like your average middle-aged white guy in good shape. Slightly balding, brown hair. Like, nothing screams. Like, you see a dozen of these guys every time you walk on the street, you know?
Does he
Yeah.
seem nervous in any way?
No.
Or anything off about him?
Actually, why don't you roll I believe it's human int.
Ooh, second roll of the session.
Hell yeah. Alright.
There it is.
47 under 60.
He seems calm, like everything's going how it's supposed to. That's kind of the feeling you get.
Do we do we check it if we check it if we fail, right?
Check on failure. Yep.
Ah.
All right.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, what's the scenery looking like as we're like driving?
It's
Yeah,
summer. It's
Are we
nice out.
driving into a city or out of the
You're
city?
just driving to another location in the city. You're leaving the airport, driving to another location.
Gotcha.
Okay. Then I would
So
say Jack is just kind of looking around at landmarks and mapping stuff out.
So Dick has been through this before, so like I'm at this point, he's not really. He's a little bit apprehensive because of the shit that he's seen before, and he knows what he's getting into. What's the general vibe of everybody else? Are all of you guys kind of like? Are you kind of like nervous or jittery or anything?
Jack isn't,
Yeah, so my
obviously,
character's
because he's
literally
like a
just
field agent. Like, he's used to being in uncomfortable positions.
And I would know you.
Yeah. I would say we know each other, but he's going to act like you don't.
I'm just gonna like I stare at you for a uncomfortable amount of time. I'm pretty sure don't I know you? You seem familiar.
I don't think so.
Hmm. You know, I make it a personal goal to know my men, and I'm pretty sure you were in North Carolina at one point or another.
My job takes me a lot of different places.
Yeah.
I've done some work for the military. Maybe you've seen me around on base, but
Yeah, no, I definitely know you. You were military. You were stationed at the base I'm at.
And,
Play
and
fool as
when you
much as
say
you want.
that, the driver pipes in and says, "Hey, small talk. Remember?"
Oh no, it is just small talk. Nothing personal. I'm just saying I've seen him around.
He doesn't say anything after that, and after a little bit, you pull into. It's after dark at this point. You pull into the a. You see a sign when you pull in, and it's a VA hospital.
no.
And you pull, and he pulls around to the back of the hospital where you see another black suburban, kind of near the docking area of the hospital. There's like only a couple cars in the parking lot, and he gets out and kind of gives that head nod for all of you to follow. And you are all, and he goes to a door, pulls out a key, unlocks it, leads you through like a short couple hallways to a innocuous office, where you see an older man about your age, Bradley, um, pressed suit, still in decent shape. He's tall, lean, deep set eyes, and he's got a craggy scowl. And he kind of like nods to each of you as you come into the room. And as soon as like the driver doesn't enter the room, he only opens the door for you guys, then shuts the door and goes back the way he came. The man waits for you all to be seated, and he lights up a cigarette and takes a big drag of it before he starts speaking. And he's like, "We have no names here except the ones we're given. You were all given your names. You'll refer to me as Hotel. I will be your handler here for this operation. For many of you, this is your first night at the opera. So I'm going to offer you this one chance. You can turn around, walk out of this room. The driver will take you back to the airport, and you'll never hear from us again. You all have an idea of the danger we deal with. This is your one chance to wash your hands of it." I'm gonna assume none of you take that because then you'll have to roll a new character.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, let me roll up into character real quick. I'm going home with my wife.
Right.
LOL, just JK. This is how I get my rocks off.
Yeah. I was gonna say Jordan, as much as she, has or that like air of nervousness to her. Obviously, she kind of steals it out. Obviously, they brought her in for a reason. So she just kind of shakes her head no. Like, no, there's no reason to back out. Might as well continue forward.
He continues after seeing none of you get up. And he goes, okay, some preliminaries. For many of you, this is your first time hearing this name. You are now all in Delta Green. We are an organization concerned with ensuring the safety and security of the people against the unknown. You all know what I'm talking about when I speak of the unknown. The words Delta Green, this will be the first and last time you hear them. You will not speak them. We are an organization that is better left unsaid, and it will stay that way. Also, knowing things about each other and about the unknown is dangerous. I don't think I need to say any more than that. So, now that we got the preliminaries out of the way, it's time to show you guys why we're all here. There's one of those like old school TVs they wheel in the classrooms.
Yes.
There's one of those sitting there, and he opens a manila envelope, takes out a VHS tape, puts it in there, grabs a remote, and presses play.
Nice.
And he says, so this is what you're about to see is a surveillance recording from a gas station in Alabama taken during a robbery 4 days ago. One second. Just double checking something. Okay. Yep. Sorry. And it's a 21-inch TV set, and you see black and white pit, like it's blurry. You know what a surveillance footage from the 90s would look like, right?
Grainy as shit.
Yeah, you see what appears to be a young man like entering the gas station, kind of holding himself and looking a bit like manic and shaky. Like he's obviously in pain, you can tell from the footage. And he runs to the and he like goes up to the counter, and he's like saying something like loudly to the like you can tell from his movements he's not speaking quietly to the cashier, and the cashier is staring back blankly. And then the man punches the cashier on the side of the head with his fist, and it's like a gun blast went off. The cashier's skull collapses, the head is completely torn off, and just like the what's left of the head crumples onto the counter as the body just slumps to the side, spouting blood.
Damn.
The young man takes a step back and like look at shock and looks at his hands and like starts twitching a little bit and just like hits the cash register. It breaks open, grabs money, and then runs off screen. Returning moments later with a handful of pill bottles, runs off screen again, not to return. Everyone, make your first sanity roll.
Ooh.
Where's
Turns out
the oh, it's just up there.
Someone failed. Yep.
Immediate failure.
That makes sense.
I can't even tell what I got.
You got a 61. Holy shit!
Hell yeah! First crit of the campaign. Let's go, boys and girls.
Okay. You only take 1 sanity damage, Spence. You're a bit shaken up by this. No one here expected this dude to just punch some guy's head off. It wasn't even like a wind up punch. Like it looked very confusing.
So like a normal punch, essentially. Like if someone was like, "Oh, just gonna punch him in the head," and it just ended up being way stronger than it was.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like the reason that this didn't really affect Dick was because even though it was really unexpected, he's seen this sort of fucked up shit before.
Which makes sense.
So he takes a moment after the video ends to just kind of gauge your guys' reactions. How does the sanity loss manifest, Spencer?
I think for Spencer, this case, especially because it's just a small amount, like it's not. I wouldn't even guess it's his first time seeing something like this on video, considering what he works in. Like if it was in person, it might be the first time. But just seeing this on a video, like it's the first time he's seen like this level of like carnage. But it's just confusion for him. Like he understands that the unexplained exists, but he's still kind of a very logical, rational person. So it's more just like kind of like he's grappling with what is bothering him is that he couldn't possibly explain right now why somebody can just punch someone's head off that very minimally. And the confusion is what's making him kind of like a little like, huh? How? kind of deal.
So after gauging your reaction, your handler hotel tells you, um, this man held up 6 gas stations and drugstores in the last few days, first in Tennessee, then in Alabama, finally in Georgia. He was caught after his last heist. An FBI agent and a state trooper put 4 bullets in him before he went down.
Damn.
The man lived, and he's
What?
currently being held in the next room. His name is Billy Ray Spivey, and he's nothing more than a scared young man with muscle tissue that isn't human.
What the fuck?
So I
Jordan
think
is
Spencer's
just
gonna
gonna
at this
say,
ask, oh, if you've already captured him,
"Oh, sorry." I was gonna say, Jordan is just gonna be like, "What the fuck? What do you mean he's here?"
Upon saying that, like before you really get a chance, like while you're saying that, he tosses you guys all a Manila folder, and if you open up your journal tab up in the top right, you should be able to see a federal incident report.
Griefy Oh.
Where'd you find that?
journal.
Where? Oh. Oh, I see it. What the hell?
The most fun stuff's at the bottom at on the 13th.
Hmm.
While you guys are reading, he kind of responds to Hawkeye, to Agent Hawkeye, and says, "Yes, he's being held in the next room, but we have him heavily sedated."
Hmm.
Spencer's going to ask, if you've already captured him, what exactly are we here to figure out?
Jackson wants to know. He'll be like, more importantly, do we know what happened to him within those 2 days between him going missing and arriving back home?
No, all the so like here I'll just go over the facts of what we know about that. Um, he returned from what his mother said. He returned dazed with no knowledge of what happened, and he was ill and a great deal of pain. His parents took him to the doctor the next day. The doctor found that only Billy Ray was in inexplicable pain, but had a remarkable appetite. He had no bowel movements and did not urinate. 7 days ago, Spivey went into a fit. His father attempted to hold him down and quiet him. Spivey punched his fist through his father's chest. Distraught, Spivey fled down the road towards town, where he robbed the first gas station and stole. He broke a countertop with his bare hands and stole the cashier's car and sped off down Highway 135, which is where he began his gas station heist, where because he crossed state lines multiple times, the FBI got involved, which is where we found out about this incident. And in the encounter with the FBI and state trooper, after shooting him 4 times, the Spivey bent the trooper's riot gun in half, and 4 bullets which all should have killed the man, were just enough to drop him, and he was taken in, drugged, and examined. Analysis showed that the muscles in his arms and legs have been entirely replaced with a strange tissue that mimics human muscle but is not human.
Any known association with the Russians?
No. From what we can tell, he was just a normal normal senior high school kid who just graduated in a small town.
Still can't rule out the Russians.
He's like, you never can rule out the Russians.
Is there any similar cases to this before?
No.
Or is it the first occurrence?
This is the first occurrence of anything we've
No
seen
doubt.
like this. He possesses tremendous muscular strength, but his skeletal structure is not changed. He's strong enough to pick up a car and throw it, but his bones will break long before he could do it. And with recent examinations, we found evidence of extensive surgery, scars all over his arms and legs. The scars are not visible to the naked eye, but the incisions seem to have been closed with the same material that replaced his muscle tissue.
So he was experimented on and returned
It's the
back.
first occurrence.
Jackson is definitely thinking it's
First
the Russians.
occurrence of,
Say again, Jacob, you cut out.
it's the first occurrence of this enhanced physical strength. Is it also the first occurrence of, what's to be clear, experimentation on somebody?
With unknown materials to like this, yes. We have nothing in our catalog that matches this that I'm aware of. He says,
Hold on before you continue.
Yeah.
She's gonna ask. She's kind of stuck on abnormal appetite. What does that mean?
we haven't spent much time questioning people in his hometown. We only got what the local police said was that he just, after his disappearance, he just ate and ate.
Hmm.
I mean, young boys eat and eat. But the interesting thing is there was no reports of him urinating or defecating with all the eating he was doing, and he's not had to do that since we've had him in our custody either.
Interesting.
He's like, if you'd follow me real quick.
How do
And
we-
he takes you to the room where you see a Billy Ray Spivey, who is not like handcuffed to the like. There's handcuffs, but there's also like thick bands and actual chains holding him down to this like gurney. And there is two men who are just in nondescript patchless government uniforms with two Mossbergs aimed at this man on the gurney.
Is he like asleep?
He is in a semi-lucid state, from what you can tell. Like he's moving his head a bit, but he's like not really all there. And all he's saying is, "It hurts, it hurts."
Can we talk to him at all? Have you been able to have like any conversation with him other than just it hurts?
Briefly, we're not going to risk taking him off sedation any further.
Can I try and persuade him to tell me what he remembers of the 2 days that he went missing?
You don't need to try and persuade him.
I could
You-
just
You ask
so I
him.
could, can I just ask him if I can tell me that it's the Russians?
Yes.
He doesn't really respond to that, but when you ask him about the missing time, he just says he doesn't know, but it hurts. And asks for you to make it stop hurting.
Jordan, kind of keeping a little bit of a step back. But she's not like, her heart doesn't like go out to him, but she's a little saddened of the fact that he's so young going through this. Hold on one second. Oh, cough attack.
And that's how Anna died.
All right.
Sorry, I was dying. But she's going to ask, like, what hurts? Where does it hurt?
Like,
Where the
he
doubt?
can't really
Show
move,
me in
so
the
he
doubt
can't
where
really
the bad
point
man
at
touched
anything.
you.
Yeah, right. No. Like she's expecting like, oh, him to say like, oh, my arms, oh, my stomach, like that type of thing. Not
He's mostly referring to his arms, his legs, between
is
his mutterings.
is
Like I
that the
said,
is that the only place that that they found those scars on, or where is it anywhere else?
it was on his let me double check. If I recall right, it was just arms and legs.
Okay.
Yeah, his arms and legs.
Okay.
After a few moments of his mumbling and stuff, your handler nods to the two men in the room, and you leave and go back to the office you were in. And he says, he said, like, once you sit down and get comfortable, he says, Spivey's temporary disappearance is not the first. I need you all to head down to Groversville. The cover story is that you are investigating a group of drug dealers connected to Spivey, which led to his panicked escape from the town and the violence and everything like that. So you're going to go under the auspice of looking for these drug dealers and trying to find out what happened. You are all going to be acting as FBI agents. We have a I have a file for each of you, and he hands you a file.
So what's the code name for Jordan and Spencer? I completely missed these at some point.
I don't even know.
Like the H code word?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're about code words that start with H, mine's Mother Skelter.
It's what?
Mother Skelter.
You keep cutting out again.
Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter. Jordan's is Hawkeye.
Now, if you go to journal and look at characters, you should see some cool stuff.
Cool.
You should be able to see a cover identity, a badge, and a page to put your notes in.
Oh, cool.
Where was this at?
In journals, there'll be a folder that says characters. Let me know if you can't see the folder.
Okay.
Here, can you see it now?
Yeah. Hot damn. Mr. John Marshall.
Look at your badges too. It's kind of cool.
That is pretty sick.
Mine
Did you
has
see
a-
what your cover name is, Anna?
Yeah, I see it.
What's your cover name?
You'll see.
Where did I see this?
If you go to journal up at the top, you'll see under like a folder that says characters, and you'll see.
Oh, under characters, okay.
Hey, maybe you should have done your due diligence and came up with something.
Did you see your note associates, Anna?
Known associates.
Bold of you to assume I ever had a girlfriend.
Brother who the Alfonso? Who the fuck's Alfonso? And roommate Jeffrey Dean Morgan. What the fuck?
Basically, and he explains, these are just cover IDs. None of this is real, except for the emergency protocol. But it's all stuff they have put on systems. So if any verification check was done for you, this is what would come up. He also states that because of the quick nature of this is very surface level IDs, and that if anyone dug any deeper than a surface level verification, they would determine that these are fake.
Gotcha.
So keep your noses clean. Everyone like their badges?
Badge is cool.
Badge is really cool. I like my badge ID 6969 420.
Yeah, because I fucked with you. I gave you the best badge ID.
Woo.
Where'd you see that badge?
It's in cover.
It's also on your badge.
Yeah.
I love how lazy my actual cover though is because it's still just my same first name.
It's a common first name. That's because I made your cover ID the person you based your character off of.
Yeah.
So he hands and all your cover ID information's on a piece of paper. And as you guys are reading through it, he grabs like a metal waste bucket from like under the desk in there and sets it in front of him. And he says, "Once you memorize that, hand the paper here." By the way, you don't just get an FBI badge; you get a driver's license, a social security card, like everything reasonable you would have to show that you're that person.
Gotcha.
And once you guys are done reading the papers he gives you with the information about your cover IDs, he puts them in the wastebasket, takes one last drag off his cigarette, and drops the cigarette in the wastebasket.
Nice.
Yeah, I figured.
And he says, so Groversville, Tennessee. It's an interesting town. It is the county seat of Grover County in central Tennessee. Small hick farm town, population about 1,200. But because it's the county seat and a main stop along Highway 135, it's one step up above Hicktown. Let's see. The only real notable thing about it is that recently it's become a hotbed for UFO activity. Residents saying seeing strange lights for months. Farmers reported finding their cattle mutilated or strange things with their cattle. And beginning a few weeks ago, several residents have had issues accounting for periods of time ranging from a few hours to a couple days. The stories have covered the paper, like the newspapers have covered the stories, but they've been very skeptical, and everywhere else in the area has been covering it as if it's a joke. He hands you a newspaper clipping as an example. You'll see that in briefing. And he says, so outside we have I have a Suburban for you, FBI plates with a full FBI loadout, including a change of clothes, your guys' size, uniforms, everything you need to play the part. And you are, and just to be clear, because again, it's some of your first nights at the opera, your goal here is to find what's causing this, put a stop to it, and cover it up so no one goes digging anymore. Your job isn't to understand it, your job's to stop it. Find out just as much as you need to put an end to it.
Sounds like something I'm good at.
He says, last thing before you go. He hands you all a card. Again, you should be able to see it in briefing. It's just a business card for an HVAC company. And he says, if you need to reach out to me, call this telephone number, and when it asks for extension, hit 393.
Nice.
Say, and that will get you to a secure line where you can reach me. I don't need hourly updates on what you find. Well, if there's anything I need to know or anything like that, reach out to me. Try to do it. Try to do it from payphones, preferably. Last thing we need is someone tapping our calls. But even then, when you call me, no details, only as vague as necessary. And then he hands Robert Bradley a pair of keys to a brand new 1996 Suburban.
Jack takes the keys.
Actually, be in 1995 because it's only midway through the year.
Jack tries to take the keys.
I'm the best driver.
Sure.
I am.
Yeah, no,
I'm the best.
Dick actually just like willingly hands you the keys. Hermes, I don't drive much anyways.
And after you guys figure out who's driving, he does mention put on a good show for the locals, get in touch with the local law enforcement, let them know why you're there. As far as I know, there's only one hotel in the town. It's Merle's Shut Eye or something like that. They're not expecting you, so you're going to have to get a room. I imagine you won't be able to take care of everything in one day.
It's nighttime, right?
Yeah, it's nighttime.
Yeah. So I'll just find the local motel.
So before we take off, you see at this point, Dick is just like he's been standing this whole time shuffling through the paperwork. He's still in his full army uniform, but like he doesn't have his name tag on. It's like, well, I guess it's time to get changed before we go out.
You guys want to know what's in your fully loaded Suburban?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did give you guys the standard FBI sidearm for that for 1996 already, because I imagine you all will carry a 6-hour P228.
Is there a rifle?
You just can't
So
carry a rifle around?
No, for the car.
Oh.
you do have a Remington 870, and you do have 2 MP5s in there.
Nice.
You also have like handcuffs, collapsible batons, flashlights, notebooks, tape recorders,
Nice. Okay, cool.
pagers, 2-way radios. You have a parabolic mic, some hidden cameras, fingerprint kits, like, typical stuff you'd expect to see in there. The most exciting thing you have is a Toshiba laptop.
Mm.
Hell
It
yeah.
weighs like 50 pounds.
Hell yeah, it does.
But what a fancy piece of equipment for 1996.
Yes.
Jordan calls the fucking Toshiba.
So I take it the night goes uneventful and you guys arrive in this town by the morning? Well,
Yeah, I
enter
would say-
shortly, by the way. Just want to get a
I would
little
say,
bit
yeah,
more.
we just find the local motel that night and
Any small talk, or do you guys just get your own rooms and that's that?
I would say do we all get our own rooms or do we just get well, I guess we would have to get 3 rooms at least. So yeah, I guess we would get 4 rooms.
Just at the local Roach Motel.
Yep.
Yeah, where the roaches are just chilling out. They're your roommates for 24 for like 8 hours.
The Motel 8.
We're really slumming it. I wish Clifford was in this campaign.
I know. We are really slumming it.
Yeah,
Well, we
where's
got
Clifford when you need him.
The FBI didn't have as much money at this point.
They also probably still would have laid low and not been like, hey, let's rent out a giant expensive hotel room.
No.
Yeah.
They would at least get a hotel though. Or actual hotel.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
I don't think there is a hotel here though. That's the other issue. This is the hotel. This is our best bet.
Well, there is you're outside of this town right now. Like I took it you stayed at a hotel that night and then headed to the town the next morning.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, oh, sorry.
I was
Go
gonna no, continue, Emma.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, just during the night or whatever, she probably, or she probably paces in like her hotel, or sorry, not hotel, motel room, like for a few hours before she finally starts to settle down. And even then, I don't think she's gonna get much sleep. Just because like one, nerves. Two, she's used to not going to bed until like 2 o'clock in the morning, anyways. And then three, just because very much like how Spencer is very analytical. So she's trying to piece together everything in her head. Um, and she's getting frustrated because again, it doesn't make sense and it will never make sense to her. Um, but that's all I'll say on that.
So, in the morning, you guys.
I would say though one quick thing. Jack would go over to Bradley's room
Okay.
and go and talk to him.
About what?
Well, he knows him.
Yeah.
I open the door and he's wearing
Jack
like
is just like, "Can I come in?"
yeah he's wearing silkies with like
Silky.
Nice.
yeah he's wearing silkies with like a button down olive drab shirt. Come in.
I take it you have a cigarette in your mouth.
Of course. As any respectable lieutenant colonel would in the 90s.
One in your mouth, one in your hand. You are about to light.
What can I do
Jack
for
will
you,
just
Hermes?
pull one out and be like, and start like, be like, "You got a light?"
Yeah, of course. I'll light it for you.
And then he'll just be like, "We may be able to talk after, but we definitely can't talk about anything till we're done with this mission."
Yeah, I know. I've been through this a couple times now. Just kind of just taken aback a little bit seeing somebody that I actually know. Usually with these things, it's the less you know about each other, the better.
Well, maybe they just
I
didn't
do
know
want
that
to
we
point
knew each
out,
other.
with your veteran status, you get the idea that this this seems like it was rushed. Like they just grabbed whatever friendlies were available to get this operation moving quickly.
I would say maybe like because even though they have deep connections, like still they know we both were in Delta Force, but we weren't in the same unit, you know.
Yeah, like they know you guys aren't like on first name basis with each other. They just like knowing each other in passing. They considered it was an acceptable threat.
Yeah.
From what you can gather.
So as you're in the room, I go back and I sit down at the desk with like a little lamp over the papers, and I'm still thumbing through everything. Have you actually sat down and read through all these papers yet? Something's just I've gone through a lot of paperwork in my career, and something just doesn't seem right to me. I don't know what it is.
I've been over it a couple times now. Sure, we'll figure it out once we get some more information. But you know how these things go. You got to get the little bits of information and figure out how they connect.
You're right.
Well, we'll figure it out.
I know how this
It's
goes
good
all
to
too
know that
well.
you're here, though, sir.
Please, no sir. Just call me Hacksaw. That's all you need.
And we'll cut it right there. Not the whole session, but we'll cut that interaction right there because that's such a fucking cliche thing to end on.
Oh, yeah.
So the morning, you guys arrive into Groversville. And here's the map of the town.
Oh.
Now we're getting a town map.
Oh, okay.
This is pretty cool, actually.
So, you guys arrive relatively early in the morning. Just normal small town vibes. Um, are you guys going to check into the only hotel in town at Merle's Shut Eye, or are you going to head to the sheriff?
I think the
I would
first
say
thing.
we go to the sheriff first.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the very first thing that we should do is go to the sheriff and make our presence known.
Yeah. Especially if our handler wanted kind of like a dog and pony show about this. So,
Okay.
she's gonna present herself as official as she can, especially under her father's like teachings and just general disposition and how he carried himself. She's just gonna be very cold and calculating as much
Okay.
as she can.
So you pull up to the sheriff's office. It's a small town sheriff's office. And the sheriff is outside. He's expecting you. The FBI called ahead and let them know that they should expect some agents in the next few days.
And so I walk up and I just kind of naturally assume the leadership role. I walk up to the sheriff, shake his hand. I hear you've been expecting us. I'm Special Agent Marshall. This is Gendron, Marsh, and Reed. Nice to meet you, sir.
Ah, nice to meet you all fine folks at the FBI. Uh, heard about why you're here. I don't know about any drug dealers. We keep a clean community here. And well, if they're all drug dealers, they're probably from outside the county and couldn't have been here too long. I'll help in any way I can.
I
Jack,
I
Jack is gonna kind of step in and be like, "We do believe they're not from here, or we believe that they're coming from a different state. That's why we're a part of this."
Well, that makes sense. We keep a clean community here.
Well,
we definitely appreciate your willingness to help us out and you accepting us within this fine little community that y'all built up over the years. I'm sure that we'll be in contact. We're gonna first go over to the hotel, get a room, and then you'll just kind of see us out and about, trying to track everything down as we need to.
and Jackson or uh, Jack is gonna ask the sheriff anyone that you think that we should look into that might know of anything that would be going on.
Oh,
Every town has its troublemakers.
Well, if you hear about that Spivey boy, I'd recommend talking with his mother.
speaking of, and since I didn't see it in the file unless I accidentally skimmed over it. Um, Jordan is gonna speak up and she's going to go, where was this Billy Ray found when he came back?
Well, he just pulled. As far as I know, he just pulled into his driveway. He went out to meet his girlfriend, and then 2 days later showed up in his driveway and didn't realize 2 days have passed. But we've all been young before.
What's her name?
One moment, please. One moment, please. Well, that's Miss Jane Allen, cutest couple here in Groversville. Allen's father is on the board of aldermen. The aldermen are the city council, so to speak.
Where could we find them at?
Find who at?
The alderman.
Oh, they're busy. It's tax time. They're really busy. Often not home.
Is there a way that we could possibly get into contact with them?
We'd have to check with them, but like I said, it's tax time.
Mm.
Can I roll like a check on like why he might not want us to talk to them? Like if he's just kind of getting us, trying to push us away from talking with them.
Yeah, sure. That would be. Let me check your skills real quick.
Wouldn't that be like a
Yeah, that'd be
human?
human int. Yeah.
13 under 60.
Nice. Let me just double check before I say anything dumb. Because I already forgot the name of the sheriff. Dan Oakley. I don't know if he introduced himself, but his name is Dan Oakley. As far as you can tell, he's just they're busy doing taxes. Like he doesn't
Alright.
seem like he's lying. It just seems like the typical small town sheriff. Like
Okay.
kind of on his own little power trip, not happy the feds are in town type deal. Almost
Understandable.
like it's them trying to, it's almost like it's an insult to him they're here because it's implying he can't keep control of his own community.
Oh, gotcha. So there's a little bit of a tension between him and us.
Not like an overt tension. Like,
No.
it's more like, of course, the feds are here, and now they're gonna,
Take over and
they're
blah,
gonna
blah,
take.
blah.
Yeah. It's more like that.
Gotcha. Like, oh, son of a bitch. Here
They're not
come
going
the
to do
feds.
things his way.
Yes. They're not going to answer to him.
He's not used to being the one who doesn't who's not in control of what's going on in town.
Gotcha.
Anyone else have any questions?
Let's see. Whoops, I keep going to the wrong thing.
It's about like 10
Oh.
o'clock, by the way.
Okay.
In the morning?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
In the morning, yeah. It's not late at night. You guys arrived in town in the morning.
Spencer's
I
going
thought
to
you-
ask him whether or not there've been any other disappearances from the locals in town,
Oh,
or just
by the way, you guys are having this conversation outside the sheriff's office. Are you trying to move into the office or just standing outside talking?
Yeah, I would say we would be moving into his.
Oh, I imagined us just standing around outside.
Yeah, unless
Well,
there, I feel like unless there are people around looking at us or watching us right now,
Yeah.
I feel like our conversation's private. I don't feel like I would feel the need to rush in unless we specifically see people starting to gawk at us.
Yeah.
No one's gawking.
No one's gawking?
Yeah, that would say
No.
we were outside. Like we just kind of like walked up to him, introduced ourselves, asked these few questions.
Yeah.
Is that-
I kind of imagined it just being like very casual.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was feeling as well. I didn't know if you guys wanted to go inside and have the conversation or outside.
No, I think after he answers that question, Jack would just be like, so
Oh, by
Where
the way,
is
for
the,
his answer for the question, it's plenty of people say they lose track of time. It's really easy to do in a small town like this.
How like, so it's a very often thing that is happening.
Well, I wouldn't say that. We keep a clean community around here.
does he seem like he's being honest about that?
Yeah, he seems like he's being honest.
Have you
Okay.
yourself ever lost time around here?
Not that I can recall.
Well, I think that'd be something
enough.
that you'd be recall. That's a pretty big thing.
Like I said, it's easy to lose track in a small town like this. Lots of
Mm.
beautiful scenery.
Well, where's a good hotel for us to check in at? Because
Merle
I don't
Shada
see-
is the only place to get a room here in town.
before we go, I was gonna ask, and this might be just more of a question for the DM, but the Sinclair Gas and Go, do we think we can ask about that too, since that also is on the list?
I think since this is more casual thing, we should just be like,
Well, it was just a scene of a crime, when it was the first place that he robbed.
Oh, you want to ask about the Sinclair Gas and Go?
Yeah.
I would say Jack would be
And also
like,
because he stole aspirin drugs,
yes, but Jack's gonna be like, well, why don't we get your number and we can go over the case with you later. Maybe meet you back here at the your office.
Well, that sounds about right. And he hands you his card. And he kind of like tips his, hat a bit and goes back into his office. And about the gas station, because you asked Anna, sorry, he says, "Oh, yeah, no, he did rob the place and make a bit of a mess, but we got that cleaned up. We like to keep a clean community around here."
As you say. Also, I noticed that this Merle guy owns like 3 fucking businesses in this fucking place.
Pretty
Yes,
right.
he does.
So I don't know about you guys, but I say it's about time we go get our hotel room, and I'm starving. Saw a little diner coming into town. Go get a bite to eat and maybe talk this over a little bit.
We'll end right here.
Cool.
So, what do you guys think of your first session at Delta Green?
I like the map. The map definitely makes it.
The map is really cool.
You guys like
Cool.
your cover IDs?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
Like how I
definitely
have
fun.
colleges you guys went to.
Oh, it's very in depth.
I wanted it, like, I feel like authenticity is everything with this.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have to make a fake business card for you guys to contact your handler, but it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to make FBI badges for you guys, but it's cool.
We appreciate your work.
It's pretty cool.
But yeah, so what do you guys think of your handler?
Seems about right.
Seems pretty standard.
And what do you guys think of the sheriff? Those are like the only 2 characters you've met.
Sheriff is shady
Shady
as fuck.
Yeah.
The sheriff
The fact
seems like
that
he's on drugs himself.
Well, the fact that he's like, yeah, we like to keep a clean community, and that's like the 4th time he says that in like a 5-minute span.
Yeah.
Definitely he's hiding some shit. There's no way.
They just
He's
like to
either-
keep
well-
a clean community.
He's either
I-
hiding some shit or something.
You
has
guys,
already
I think
happened
he
to
likes
him.
to keep a clean community. I think
Yeah.
that's the vibe I'm getting off
I
of
think-
him.
I think we're looking into this too much. I think he just likes a clean community. I don't
find
think
out.
there's anything to see there. I think we should just ignore him.
You know what? I think the kid just, got into the wrong crowd, and that's just what happens.
Yep. You get in the wrong crowd and you get superpowers.
You could get superpowers. You
that caused you a lot of
accidentally
pain.
punch someone's head off, and that's just life.
It's the Russians.
It's the Russians.
They're
By the
creating.
way, before we
I
go,
cannot believe that Jack.
everyone needs to make a flat D100 for me.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
I
shit.
closed my game.
Balls.
Whoopsies.
9 under 100. I'm rolling fucking rocks.
I got a 40.
I closed my computer. Give me a second.
All right.
Yeah, I got
29. 29.
What are your dice rolls? Do a hard roll. Anna's right there to verify what you rolled.
Yeah, he's doing that right now.
Can't trust his wife.
Accurate.
Oh, whatever.
What do you roll?
60. Wait, hold on.
What?
Or is that?
Oh, yeah, it's 60. He's right.
There, I just put it in chat. Okay, I just need to keep track of that.
What's that for?
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't like that.
I actually really think that the first place we should investigate is that family video.
The family video.
Yeah.
What movies do you think they have? And
Yeah,
Guys,
I think
90
June
it's
or
96.
July?
Zach, for the next session, I need you to perform whatever like best like movies should be out there in '96. We should be able to go in there and just take a look at the shelves.
I
and just
want
choose
to
all
go
greatest-
into the
greatest
family
movies in
video
'96.
and say we have to confiscate some movies and take them back to the
Take
hotel.
and take a couple porn videos that are in the
Just
back.
It's
Why
family
not?
video. And
It's family
I
video.
don't know. I've never been.
They have a
to
porn
family
section.
video.
They have a porn section in Family Video.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't they always have like a porn section?
It's like in the back.
yeah.
No, I've never been in a family video. I was born in '93.
Well,
I was born in '98, so
we know how Jordan is.
shut up.
She did say she doesn't talk to anybody. Lots of lonely nights at home.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Absolutely, that's what's on all my the floppy disks on my desk.
You just put it in
and
the computer, and it takes 30 seconds for it to load the 320p pornography.
Yep,
Oh my God.
absolutely. Lots of lonely nights.
Just straight bush everywhere.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that physically hurt thinking about that.
It's like that 70s stuff where you can tell like it smells way too thick of cigar smoke.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
It's like the shit that I find on Prisoners.
Oh no.
Legit.
Not the spank bank.
Uh,
No, I definitely think we should go to the where was it? Where was it? The Shining Heart Daycare and Elder Care.
Well, the first place we actually need to go to is talk to his mother.
Well, yes. We need
I
to
think
talk
you
to
guys
his
are all
mother.
forgetting that we're going to a diner right now to eat.
That is also true.
Gonna go eat.
Who knows
get
who,
some of that
who knows who
stuff.
we're going to run into at the diner?
Also
And
true.
we can also split up.
Yeah, that is
the
also
one thing you can guarantee is that it's a clean community.
absolutely. And you know
That's why they
what?
have drug
Find
dealers.
no drugs,
The
no
Russian
violence.
alien drug dealers.
I was gonna say it's definitely aliens. Aliens are taking over. I'm getting at World's End type vibes.
The aliens made a deal with the Russians.
The sheriff.
No, it's always the Russians.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I can't believe that Jack didn't mention the Russians one more time with the sheriff.
I know.
Like, I'm pretty sure Jack, to be in character, should have just been like, hey, have you seen any Russians around here? Anybody that looks like they could possibly be a Russian.
Hey,
Just let me
guys,
know.
I'm getting off for the night. Have a good night.
Okay.
everybody.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
On Friday.
I'm glad you